Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal and welcome back to another weight loss video. Hope you enjoy this one. Let's dive right in. I love this subreddit and I want to speak to the younger people on here. Hey there, I've been on this subreddit since 2016, thereabouts, losing weight and working to keep it off. I've been seeing a lot of people under 25 years old posting here for advice, even some in high school, and I'm sure many lurking youth as well. Please do yourselves a favor. Before you go and calculate your total daily energy expenditure, or pick a daily calorie goal, or choose a weight goal, please just work on repairing and healing your relationship with food and your body. Disclaimer from Luke Narwhal, please see a doctor or healthcare professional before attempting any kind of weight loss plan. This is easier said than done, of course. Reframe how you want your daily eating to look and how that reflects your life goals. Now that can sound like a loaded topic, but it doesn't have to be. If you want to be a toned person, ask yourself what a toned person is eating and how they are moving their body day in and day out. Ask yourself if they eat whenever they have a hunger pang, or if they keep eating once they are no longer hungry. Ask yourself if they drink soda or how much water they drink. If you act like the person you want to be, the decisions become easier to make, and at times are made for you. I don't mean to sound cliche here, I just want to shed some light on how heading to the root of your eating issues is more valuable than letting apps and websites determine how much you should eat and becoming a slave to them when you input your every ingredient that passes your lips. I've spent years up until 2021 battling with different diet strategies like keto, intermittent fasting, vegan, vegetarian, low carb, you name it. None of it has felt nearly as effortless as making decisions yourself based on your goals. I've lost 20 plus pounds, 2 plus pant sizes, and become stronger in my athletic activity in the last 5 months by simply living this way. I wish I didn't waste 6 years of my life on those diet strategies, and instead did back then what I'm doing now. I've been a chronic overeater since I was 5 years old, and I'm 26 now. The brain is elastic. We can change if we want to. If you think you're doomed beyond help and that you can't change your ways, you're still young. And even if you're reading this and don't consider yourself young, you can change. Yeah, I think we're all guilty of selecting a strict dieting regime that doesn't fit with our day-to-day life and then feeling like a failure when it doesn't work. For most people, MyFitnessPal and calories in, calories out works. But if you travel a lot and are forced to eat out, then you have to find a better approach. If you work irregular hours, intermittent fasting probably isn't going to work for you. I don't think it's only young people who fall victim to this. The amount of conflicting information out there is insane. There's hints in what you've written as well about identity. And instead of seeing yourself as a larger person or a dieting person, seeing yourself as a healthy person or a toned person, which I 100% agree with. Atomic Habits is one of my favorite nonfiction books, and it talks about this. Changing your perceived identity to make your habit stick. It really works. I'm a professor and I research things for a living, so you'd think the introspective approach would work for my diet. Absolutely not. I still have all my issues with food and eat like a half-starved dog if you give me the chance. What worked for me is controlling behaviors via building good habits. Portion size is actually a habit. Learning to stop eating when you're only sort of full is a habit. I would not say I have a stellar body image yet or a lack of food issues even at goal weight. When I slip up, I go back to the habits. They don't require belief or personal growth, just repetition. I think there's a good chance that most people in the subreddit will never have an uncomplicated relationship with food, and I think it's okay to admit that a lot of us will struggle forever with food decisions. This is really good advice. If you're an introspective person, do the mental work. I wasn't though. The physical work came before the mental work. I had to start losing weight first. I needed to know it was possible since I was fat my whole life. Losing the first 5 to 10 pounds came first, then the mental realization that I could lose weight if I ate less. For me, the right tool was calorie counting and MyFitnessPal. For someone else, intermittent fasting might be the tool. As the scale moved down, that's when I was able to reframe. I was able to hone in on what satisfied me, what made me hungrier, why I was eating, what was triggering me, etc. I don't think I could have done that first if I hadn't lost the weight first. I became more interested in my relationship with food on the mental side once I truly understood the relationship between food and my body on the physical side. The biggest problem I see with this well-intended advice is that our perception of what and how other people eat isn't always accurate. When I was younger, I would get jealous of my younger sister, who, from my perspective, could eat anything that she wanted and remain thin. When I started to pay more attention, though, I realized that my sister made a lot of intentionally healthy choices, and unhealthy choices were just special occasions, or split with someone else, etc. Focusing on what I was seeing at those special occasions only would have given me a very warped view of reality. The other thing I hope you and other young people will keep in mind is that no one has to be perfect 100% of the time. If you want to eat a bunch of salads because that's what you think supermodels eat, then great. But if you decide to have a burger one night, you don't need to berate yourself because you messed up, or blew it, or failed. Making a consistent effort, imperfectly, will get you a lot farther in the long run than holding yourself to unsustainable or unattainable standards of perfection. So, as a 35-year-old, my perspective might be a bit different. I think that acknowledging that your relationship with food is problematic is a good place to start, and that being aware of that relationship can be enough to start a journey. But if you need professional help, then get it. However, I really want to dissuade a lot of our kids from thinking about an ideal body and what that person does. So many influencers who have ideal bodies are really out of their depth. And when they share what I eat in a day videos, they are so out of depth with a generally healthy diet. Also, a bodybuilder body is not sustainable for life. Maybe consider the things you want to do with your body or your life and how you can work towards those goals. I'm 51 and I approve this message. One's relationship with food has to come first. I learned the hard way that a diet with a fancy name is simply not sustainable. I had to change how I thought about and enjoyed food. For me, this meant no screens at dinner and choosing my favorite fruit over Oreos, while still allowing an indulgence sometimes. I buy a lot of pre-prepped vegetables because I'm more likely to eat them. You're gonna slip up sometimes. Forgive yourself and move forward when this happens. Great abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym. This is probably closer to how I've lost weight the last 2 years more than anything I normally see here. I actively do not count calories and have gradually lost weight. I'm great at calorie counting, but for me, it's a pendulum that eventually swings the other way with the same force, if not more. I think I've lost 30 to 40 pounds that way, only to gain it back 5 times, if not 6. Personally, I feel that all the energy and time and obsession I used to pour into calorie counting, especially as a teen, was a good way to ignore the actual underlying issues of why I overate. And back then, when I was successful, I was never happy. It didn't fix any problems I had with my body or address my poor coping mechanisms. It was just another poor coping mechanism. I have now accepted that I will never have a normal relationship with food. I don't want to be told that I need therapy for that statement. It's a matter of fact. I have a long and fraught history with food and weight. Not sure how acknowledging that means I need medical help. If I look like I have an okay relationship with food, it's because it's something I'm actively working at. My own personal experience is similar to what this post touches on, and I wish I could have seen it when I was 15. The TDE and calorie counting, macros, etc. might work for an adult with a developed mind, but I can assure you that there's teenagers here, like I was, that take this stuff way too far in the pursuit of that perfect self that all teenagers unrealistically think they should be. I know because this subreddit was a huge part of my ED as a teen. Not that anything taught here is wrong for normal adults, but it's important to put the message out there, just in case someone like young me needs to see it. The message in the original poster's post is great and exactly what I've been taught to practice in my recovery from my ED, so he/she nailed it. Thanks, original poster, you're doing great work. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day. Same girl, same shorts, same messy room, different weight, 251 pounds to 213.